Let's turn our attention to the difference between relative and absolute cell references. Clicking on the cell here, H8, we can see up in the name box that this cell is referred to as H8. It means it's in column H and it's in row 8. It's quite simple. That distinguishes it from every other cell on this worksheet. It also distinguishes it from cell H8 on other worksheets within this book, inventory, monthly cash flow, etc. So it's a unique address for that cell. Let's take a look at this particular cell here, which has a formula in it. From F8, the cell that I'm currently on, we can see that the formula is D8 minus E8. So I'm looking at, and you can think of this as a different way, as the formula in this cell, F8, is taking the value in two cells to its left and subtracting from it the cell immediately to its left. So it's D8 minus E8. In the same way, here in F9, we're taking the cell that is 2 to its left, taking that value, and subtracting off the value immediately to its left. So I've left a couple of cells blank here, and we're going to fill in the formulas. I'm going to right-click on this one and choose Copy, and I'm going to move down here and click Paste. And we notice that now we have the formula D10 minus E10. So we have relative references here. Just as this one was the value 2 to its left minus the one immediately to its left, we've copied down the formulas in a likewise fashion. So 2 to the left minus 1 to the left. And we can copy this and paste it on down to the remainder, and you'll see we're holding the strict case that the formula is always that value, which is 2 to the left minus 1 to the left. That is the essence of relative references. We also have a notion called absolute references, and let's start by tossing in a number up here. I'm going to put in 2,000, and we're going to change that to a dollar amount just for display purposes to make it clear. I'm going to add a new formula over here, and I'm going to say that's equal to this value over here, 2,000, and I'm going to subtract off the taxes here in E8. I'm going to click Enter. So we have 2,000 minus this 209.30, and that's 1790.70. And as we've discussed before, if we were to copy this formula down the row, what would happen? It would take this value minus this one for here, but in the next cell it's going to take what amounts to be the value in gross pay and subtract off this amount. That's not going to make a whole lot of sense. So we're going to change this formula ever so slightly and create an absolute reference for a cell. And we're going to do that by going up to the formula bar and clicking here and entering a dollar sign before the D and before the 5. That is how you create an absolute reference, by putting the dollar sign before the column name, the column letter, and the row number. And let's click Enter. Notice now we have the same value, 1790.70. The formula is ever so slightly different. It's equal $D, $5 minus E8. So let's go ahead and copy this formula and paste it on down the column and see what happens. You'll notice that when we click on this cell, we still have D5 minus E9. So it's still taking the value here, and now it's subtracting off this value, E9. And sure enough, if we look in this cell as well, we've still got D5, and we're subtracting off D10, now the value 2 to its left. And so on down the road. We're always going to be taking, for each of these cells, this value minus the value in the cell 2 to its left.